Kosha, the Australian newspaper has been pushing hard about the case of these Australian women and children in camps for former Islamic State families. This is in northeast Syria. The argument goes, if you read the commentary in the Australian, we need to get them home. We need to think about their humanitarian case. Now, I'm pretty hard line on this. I'll say it again. 42 women, 16 children. I know the children are innocent, but some of them perhaps not. We know there are a lot of child soldiers involved in Islamic State, kids recruited online. But we also know these women left Australia to join Islamic State. Why bring them back here?
I'm with you, Peter. It may be harsh, but the just nature of this, or the true way to look at this, is if you join ISIS or any enemy combatant and switch allegiances against your country towards those, even if you're female, even if you have young children, there has to be a line, and you cannot get a free pass back to civilization. What this really is it's another flavor of, I think, the crisis in law and order that's really taking over Western democracies in many flavors. This is just one flavor of that. And the other thing that's also interesting is that media coverage towards it. I was looking at some comparisons, from history, for example, and Nazi mass murders where females were not given this type of puffy or very favorable analysis in the media back then, and they are now. And I think that's sort of telling of how the culture has shifted away from law and order and towards pandering to different groups and sort of pulling at heartstrings rather than following a system that applies equally to everybody.
Yeah, look, and if we don't believe in gender anymore, treat the women as harshly as you treat the men. But of course, Michael, you were in the parliament, you would have had security briefings on all of this stuff. The crimes perpetrated against the Yazidi women, the decapitation, the brutality, I've never read anything like this in recent memory. No way, stay there, don't come home.
These people are truly horrific. What they did to the Yazidis and to, in fact, all other Muslims who didn't agree to their form of fanaticism is horrendous. Heads on poles, showing them to young children, etc. If the women are brought back, they certainly have to do jail terms, as they participated in this. People have their heartstrings pulled for the children, Peter. That's understandable. They'd have to stay with grandparents, and the wives would have to do jail terms, in my view.
And the problem is they don't do long jail terms, and the evidentiary burden, getting the evidence out of war zones from 5 or 6 years ago, now 10 years ago, to convict them to the levels of Australian courts, that's been the problem.